Captain Cole.
What a group of misfits.
Very much a group of misfits.
Hey, if movies have taught me anything, it's that a group of misfits will always do what a group of excellent command officers fresh out of the academy couldn't do.
Exactly. Now watch me chug the rest of this bottle of brandy.
So, when do we do the montage?
Well, I think this is a good time. We should use a montage here from scenes from the second, third, and fourth episodes just to get everybody warmed up.
So yeah, we're sounding more like the Orville from Star Trek.
I am wildly entertained, and I hope that people are having a good time.
I know I am.
So,
is glorious.
Some say that Orville
I
is
don't know
more
if you
Star
guys
Trek
can hear
than
me.
Star Trek.
Oh god.
Yeah. Well,
Can you
keep
guys
in
hear me?
mind that
Okay.
this is kind of how I approach my battle missions too.
Somebody said,
There was one scene where to get past a group of androids, they dressed up one of the officers as an android, and his lines were, "Hello, I am an android. I will do android things for you. Go, Conclave!" And it worked.
I guess is this cut content we never got to see, Duncan?
Pretty much. It's the backstory of Lieutenant Tardigrade.
Okay, from here on at this point at the end, we need an emergency author hologram.
Well, that's Hippie John in this case.
The real John, you might say.
so can you guys hear me?
Yeah, no,
I can hear you just fine.
Okay,
Okay,
there's
so-
all this horrible feedback that I keep.
Well, I'm on my phone, so it might sound terrible. I do want to address something Kendra said. She said this is starting more like the Orville than Star
We're
Trek.
talking again.
I beg to differ. The Orville started with dick jokes and a drunk pilot. We haven't gone that far yet.
Yet.
So are you saying that I need to get Kara sauced?
I'm already getting sauced.
I mean, we are.
I'm pretty sure half the players are drunk at this point, but we haven't done that to the characters yet.
So wait,
Hey,
our doctor is of Irish descent and is now drinking.
Well, I'm not in character yet. I'm saying, well, I'm of Irish descent too, real life, and yeah, I'm drinking.
I smell a
You
stick.
have watched The Cage, right?
Marcus doesn't remember how he got home last night.
Marcus is the only one in the club without shoes on. I mean, shouldn't somebody be asking him about that right about now?
Once we restart,
Starfleet has loose regulations about that in casual environments.
on the best of days.
I mean, that is true. Can you imagine John T. Tardigrade trying to wear shoes? It's cute, but
oh, I just realized. I know what my shirt says now because it's just a. Since I am a nerd, it's a Stark Industries T-shirt.
Here's a question though. I have for
like that.
Duncan. Is Tardigrade actually wearing a uniform at all?
Let's go with yes.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, so it's him in a uniform. It's harder for me to draw that, so for a lot of the just miscellaneous doodles, I don't. Just because.
But you have drawn that before.
Yeah,
You have drawn Tardigrade in the uniform before, so that's why I asked. I'm like, are we seeing that?
I am trying so very hard not to hug Lieutenant Tardigrade and pat him on the head.
Also, since the Odyssey doesn't exist yet, what uniform is he wearing? Just. Oh, that's adorable! I love that.
It's the cadet uniform, isn't it?
Oh yeah, we're in cadet uniforms right now.
Some of us are. Some of us are in sweatpants and a shirt.
Oh, I understand the feedback. Nord is talking to us from outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on my porch smoking a cigarette and I'm on my phone, so I'm sorry if it doesn't sound great. My bad.
It's
Oh,
not
we're
that
also hearing-
that doesn't sound great. We're just getting our audio feed whenever we actually.
It's
So we hear
and it'll
it.
stop
Yeah.
in it'll stop in a second. So
Yeah,
Hey, there's crickets. Crickets are good.
they're tasty.
No,
covered in
they
chocolate.
really aren't. You live in the South.
Oh,
was
trust
gonna
me,
say,
I work
I'm
in the zoo.
South.
Crickets are
They're
smelly.
everywhere.
Cover them
You
in
get-
chocolate. They're just fine.
You get 200 crickets in one place, and believe me, you don't want to deal with them anymore.
I lived in Louisiana. I agree. Now,
There's-
I will
there's
be
a
honest.
place where my nieces and nephews are that sells various kinds of candy, and one of the things they sell is crickets in like this sugar amber kind of mix, and scorpions in that sugar amber kind of mix, as if it's like a lollipop.
yes.
Those are good.
Oh,
Yes.
you're in the Southwest.
So, we are coming back from our commercial break, and when we first see our characters again, actually, what we see is a shuttle. We see Starfleet Academy from the sky, and we follow a shuttle that is leaving Starfleet Academy until we see our characters again as the camera kind of just like goes through the window of the for where the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 1, 6 plus 1 of you are because tardigrade is small. So, but he's probably up on something because all of you probably want to see your ship as you are 1, 2, 3.
Okay, I am back.
7.
Sorry about
Yeah.
that. I will
There.
from now on, I'm going to do a thing. I'm going to grab my headset and take it with me because it works on my phone too. I do apologize
That's
for the
neat.
feedback.
It's not a big deal, man.
Not a problem at all.
So, yeah. So, what you have is all of you can see the ships that the Reliant is not the only ship hanging in one of the final docks. Those are the docks outside Earth Space Dock. Do we know? And if we don't, I will ask Thomas on Twitter and find out where the Reliant was actually built. In this case, it has been moved to one of the final docks outside of Earth Space Dock, and as we have seen from sharing the pictures multiple times, it is one of the most beautiful ships, in my opinion, in the Star Trek Online game.
Agreed.
I love it. It's always, for me, it had always been one of my favorite ship designs because I loved it in Star Trek 2. And what they did, what Thomas did to modernize it looks incredible. And in this case, it is also the absolute, it is smaller than many ships that are in service right now, but it is absolute top of the line in every system. There is an emergency hologram literally for every system on board, including if you decided to call on it an emergency command hologram.
Is there a hospitality hologram?
You can very easily activate one in the holodeck. Yes.
Okay.
We call those bartenders.
Bartenders.
Activate emergency bartender hologram. That would be my favorite thing.
I need 40 cc's of scotch stat.
So this is our look at, yeah, there's definitely feedback there.
Yeah,
maybe
bad feedback.
maybe just mute.
There we go.
There we go.
When you're talking, hopefully the feedback is gone. But what we see is now the shuttle into the deck of the shuttle deck. You know that the shuttle that you came up on is not intended to stay on board as part of the shuttle complement of the Reliant. But you see the final cadets. You already have your orders, and all you'll need to do is yes, a Type 10 shuttle. The most modern. Is that the most modern we have in the game? No.
Yellowstone would be
Yeah. The weird looking ones. Which would be the modern? Yes, the Yellowstone shuttles would be the most modern. So probably the things you see in the bay are combinations of Type 10 and Type 10 and Yellowstone shuttles. So all you can are they? Are Yellowstones
Yeah, they're runabouts.
Okay, then these are all the updated shuttles. Probably it's a few different kinds of ships that ferried up what looks to be the last 50 or so crew members, and you see a number of the non-commissioned officers checking people in and giving them assignments. You already have your full assignments. You even know where your quarters are. It's all, you have all of that information. All you'll need to do is just check in. There's one last non-commissioned officer. It's it's an older human. He's got kind of that J. Jonah Jameson style mustache, but slightly. He doesn't have that haircut. He's got like messy.
Oh,
hair.
I was about to ask. Please tell me he has the haircut, but damn.
No, he doesn't have the haircut, but he does have that J. Jonah Jameson mustache. And he's kind of the last, he's directing people at the door. So he's probably the one that all of you need to talk to. And quite literally, the check-in is as easy as it is because you are the senior staff. They when you check in, the person at the door says, he welcomes you aboard, and he says, welcome aboard, cadets. We're looking forward to seeing what you can do. This fellow's name, this is one thing I like to do when I run games, is some NPCs don't have names until the group gives him a name. And or her or them a name. And in this case, this non-commissioned officer, he's an NCO, he's a chief, and he's got the J. Jonah Jameson mustache with kind of longer, messier hair. Not long, but longer than J. Jonah Jameson. So anyone type in a name for this guy into game chat. His name is Alan James Kirkland, but he simply introduces himself. He welcomes you aboard. We're looking very forward to seeing what you do, what you can do, cadets. I'm Chief Kirkland, and anybody who expresses a hand, at him, he'll shake your hand if you want to, but otherwise he says, I know that you already have your orders, so welcome aboard.
Waitley just nods to him and passes by.
Kara snaps to attention in front of him with Nala sitting at her feet real quick. Cadet Kara Jurani. I'm the ship's con officer, sir. Afterwards, she moves on.
Yeah, he's like, as long as you don't need help with your room assignments, Yeah, I'm here to get everybody settled and make sure they know all of any points at the 50 or so cadets that are, checking in now. There's less than 50. It's, people are moving through pretty quickly. This is the day of launch after all.
Well, Kara goes to put her
kind
dog
of
away.
Gestures. He's like, yeah, everybody needs to know where they're going, and that's my job today. So
Kara just goes to put her.
A layout of the ship on a little pad that he's got, and is like tracing a route to where he's and suggesting to other players, other people, well, you're here, so that makes you over here.
Well, Kara has to go put her dog away, but then she heads for the bridge.
Eli is heading to the med bay, I guess, to check it out.
And then tardigrade climbs into a Jeffries tube.
And vanishes.
great, we're gonna have a tardigrade in the Jeffries tubes.
Do you want tardigrades? Because this is how you get tardigrades.
Awesome.
I was gonna say, are we really all that surprised?
No, not at all.
Nope.
So
He's
now,
going to expect
as I said, the Reliant is top of the line. So think you're kind of think of the Starfleet hallways that from the game, but more scaled down. Not because they're all scaled. Everything in game is scaled up for our ability to look at things.
You mean I could actually jump up and touch the ceiling?
Probably if you're tall enough, yes. This is in fact that's a great way to put it, Kara. Way more comfortable than the Defiant. Way more comfortable. The hallways are not as large as on, if you've served on a bigger ship on another cadet cruise or seen, the bigger hallways that we know, but they are wide enough to have foot traffic move in both directions. That the engine core is absolute top of the line. You will have a comfortable cruising velocity of warp 7. That is, I think that's approximately right. I'm trying to think back to what comfortable cruising velocity was for the Enterprise in the Next Generation. Does anybody know that? I mean, we are all Star Trek geeks. Before I go look it up.
6. The comfortable cruising velocity of the Enterprise D was warp 6.
Okay,
There was a spatial limiter of 5, but I think that's been resolved now.
But yeah, that was for a couple episodes. But the standard cruising
was
velocity.
6.
Yep.
Okay, so since the standard was 6. That was the D. You are now in the year 2409, and the ship you've been assigned to has everything top of the line. You have a comfortable cruising velocity of 7. Actually, let's call it 6 almost 7. Once you reach 7 is when you gotta start looking at it. 6.9. I love it.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Sure, we can have 6.9 be the comfortable cruise velocity so that people can get a chuckle.
Everyone who hears it will just go nice.
So the engine core is absolutely beautiful. When you're walking into a brand new sick bay, and this is like the little montage moment where we see people walking into their stations, and hey, you only get it if you're thinking about it. I guess so. so this is a bunch of so this is a montage of you all seeing this very, very beautiful ship. And when those of you who are going to the bridge after you put things in your quarters, and remember, you have 3 hours until the ship is due to launch. When you arrive at like 9:15 in the morning, so you have almost 3 full hours before the ship is due to launch. The captain is not on the bridge. There are other cadets on the bridge who are very happy to see their command staff walking onto the bridge, and they're all one in particular, cadet, someone throw out any name, male, female, any name, any race combination. Cadet Larissa. What race is Cadet Larissa? Larissa is a Zindi reptilian. Cadet Larissa is Larissa. Cadet Larissa is on one of the rear tactical stations, and is she says, "Welcome to the bridge, guys. You know her from the academy. She wasn't an exceptional student, but she is certainly capable at targeting and the needs of a tactical station, and her particular station is the torpedoes. So she is directly under the auspices of Kendra on the bridge, anyway. She says, "Welcome to the bridge, guys. This is beautiful." Now you're on the bridge.
Kendra.
And that's those of you who are going to the bridge who have a bridge position assignment. And starkly, there are 3 center chairs. That only happens when the ship has a counselor. The counselor is generally a bridge position. Yes.
Yeah, most likely
So-
I would have been on the way to check over
Picking up there.
sensor arrays, and probably not the main bridge right away.
Kendra's caught in her quarters underneath a pile of books.
That's my other destination, to try and make sure.
I suggest an alternate title now. We should just be Carry On Enterprise.
Bearing in mind that you're all moving onto the ship for a minimum of 3 months. Now, none of you have your final assignment for what you're going to be doing after this cadet cruise. But knowing that you're going to be here for 3 months, when you wanted to bring a whole lot of books, that ended up being less of a problem. Like it's one of those funny moments where you both might have thought, hey, this is going to be a bit of a problem to bring all of these books, and you ended up being able to have them transported up on another shuttle, and they are waiting for you in your room.
It took about 35 minutes of arguing with Doc. Wasn't.
You're really breaking up there.
Yeah. It took 35 minutes arguing with the dock master to find a shuttle.
I definitely like that as part of our montage of everyone coming on board. So, Kara, you go onto the bridge, and the con station is absolutely beautiful. It is intuitive and waiting now, because you are the main con officer and this is your first time sitting down there. you're sitting down for the first time at the con station. You have probably already in your academy training and other times had the setup that you are most comfortable flying a ship with, and you are able to load that up onto the L cars in front of you so that the interface is instantly intuitive because you can load your own settings into it, and you know that it has the ability for when you're not at the pilot station for whoever is at the pilot station to load up their own UI as it were.
Kara checks a couple settings, including inertial dampeners. She heard that some cadet called Sulu back on one of his maiden cadet cruises forgot to turn that off.
Yeah, you can definitely make sure that all of your settings are good for leaving space dock in a couple of hours. It's also a thing that you find that you have to do when you sit down. This is the part that you're like, okay, I am still part of the science department because there are three and we can come up with what those three are, but there are three-month-long experiments in xenobiology that you are going to be overseeing the two scientists working on those in the science bay. And as well, your far bigger task is to assign the flight control division. So for the next couple of hours, it depends on how fast you think Kara would be at doing it. You have to assign which pilots are going to be assigned to which shuttles, and because not sure, we'll have to find out how many shuttles how big is the shuttle fleet of the USS Reliant. You have to assign who will be responsible for flying the shuttle if it's called on at this time. Has anyone else made their way to the bridge?
Marcus is still in his quarters, but one thing I did want to suggest for one of the science experiments, have it an absolutely exquisite and delicate and must not be disturbed experiment with mushrooms of some kind.
Considering that Cadet Tardigrade is on the mission, I think that is a brilliant idea.
So, considering that Whately knows his is a bridge position, he would have arranged to make sure all his effects and possessions were sent to his quarters. He wouldn't have made sure they were in his quarters. He wouldn't go straight to his quarters. He would just make sure, yes, all these boxes go to this deck, this everything, and then he would have gone straight to the bridge.
You notice the same things as you are entering onto the bridge as Kara would notice. That cadet Larissa is already at her position at the back of the bridge, and she seems anticipatory, and she's the most excited about her final cadet cruise. She's really looking forward to this. Everyone else is focused on finishing their jobs, and when you sit down at your station, which is the chair left of the captain's seat, you see that you already have it's not full, but you already have a counseling docket for the next 3 days.
Yay!
People
not
making
his
time
reaction,
but yes, you have a counseling docket for the next 3 days. That is and arranging that and making sure that that your time to be able to do it it fits in with their time. It's none today, but starting tomorrow tomorrow you have 2 people that would like a counseling session. The next day there are 2, and the third day there are 4.
So anybody that's gotten to
And
know
you have-
Whately at all, and not even like personally, just they've been around him a lot and they've gotten used to his mannerisms. If they're on the bridge and they see him reading that and reacting to that, he's very stoic. He's very, nonplussed. But he does have certain tics when he's happy about something. The wry grin that he gave to Lieutenant Cadet Tardigrade would be one of those. He's very fond of the wry half grin. He does that. He gives like the ultimate non-expressive, oh good, kind of thing.
So, does anyone have specifics that they want to do in the area of the ship that they are during these 3 hours?
I wrote mine down.
Can I get secondary sensor control routed to the con station just in case?
Yes.
All right.
Where is it written down, Eli?
I'm just going to quote it, save time.
Enough. Oh,
Yay.
the EMH. You want to walk in and say computer activate EMH?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, now I have to. He doesn't have all of the. Do I have the picture of him saved? I don't know. I hope I do. Dun, 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 dun.
And I do have a scene with Kendra after. I'm just feeding a baby right now.
Awesome. Okay, there we go. This will do. I can just save this image. Saved otherwise. It is indeed. Oh, where is that image? Where did it save? Yes, it is the Zachary Quinto model.
Was it Mark 7? Hold on, I'm gonna look it up. I'm curious about that.
Oh yeah, I don't remember what I don't know if they actually ever told us what Mark that model was. It might have been a Mark 7. I'm not sure is the only thought there. Is I'm not sure, and unless I'm sure, I wouldn't be like, yeah, it was Mark 7. There he is. MH, and without all of the extra glowy bits, and wearing that uniform. Because as right now, all of you would know that though Starfleet is at a quote unquote war posture with the Klingon Empire, it has largely been a very cold war and a war of yelling, not a war of a whole lot of conflict yet.
Cold War in all but name.
Yes. Cold War in all but name. And at this time, the Starfleet still had a very relaxed uniform standard, though you couldn't just like wander around in a clown suit. As long as you had some sort of Starfleet uniform that was in use throughout the last many years, you were okay. And so that is the EMH, and it activates and says, it would be in Zachary Quinto's voice, it would say, please state the nature of the medical emergency.
No medical emergency, just making sure you're calibrated. I'm the new CMO.
Chief Medical Officer O'Connor. Cadet O'Connor. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Dr. O'Connor will do, and it's a pleasure to make yours as well.
Well, I am not needed for any emergency.
Just making sure you're calibrated is all. You are dismissed if you wish to be.
It makes a quick. You notice that the eyes move back and forth quickly for a moment, and it says self-diagnostic complete. I am calibrated. And then disappears.
All right, now I'm just going to check out the rest of the med bay. Sick bay.
You are not the only one in medbay. Your nurses and other cadets. Everyone in the medbay is a cadet, except for one non-commissioned officer who is a nurse who has experience on starships. We can decide who they are later. But just saying, you're not the only one in here, and one of your first jobs as you start to look around is exactly what people are having to do on the bridge. You find that you're needing to make sure different doctors are assigned at different times of day, and what times different nurses are on shift. You seem it does seem for everyone that there has been one command directive sent from the mission commander, which was department heads have the freedom to create their own duty shifts within their own departments. Bridge is different. Bridge operates on 4 6-hour duty shifts. That's the thing that you find, is that you need to it's the part of being the chief medical officer that makes you say, wow, okay, yeah, being in charge of things is going to require all of this. And you have doctors to assign. And we move away from the med bay and to Kendra's quarters, where we last left her.
Kendra stops trying to sort books and realizes that she's just putting off the inevitable. She's nervous about being in a command tactical sort of position as chief security officer. This isn't where she saw herself, but it's where she is. She makes her way towards the bridge. In the hallway, she passes several familiar faces and nods, smiling slightly. She enters the bridge and takes a deep breath. It's so beautiful. She contains her excitement and tries to look professional. Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the bridge, Commander.
She makes her way to her station.
Marissa, you had a lot of classes with the Zindi reptilian that is on the bridge, because she also is a security officer. And Kara, you also had classes with her. When you walk onto the bridge and move to the security station, which is behind the command seats, she looks over with I have this image of a Zindi reptilian smiling, and it's very comforting, strangely. Larissa had taken many of your same classes, Kendra, and when you come onto the bridge and take your station and say hello to everyone, she says, welcome to the bridge, Chief. She is sitting at the station that will fire torpedoes and her station will be linked with yours when the ship is in red alert status. And welcome to the bridge, Chief. So if you get into combat, yes, if you get into combat. So you are
a familiar face.
Interesting that the captain's not here yet. And at this point, you all notice that a good amount, Quentin, in the science bay, where you're checking through the sensors, this is actually a dream come true for you. You have worked with other sensor packages and science packages on starships before. But this is absolute top of the line. They weren't making this in 2409. This is the very first ship of its class. It has it has the experimental science tech on it. And all of you begin to realize that that time is passing and the captain has not yet reported on board. So any of you may yes, you could detect a toilet. If you wanted to, you could detect a toilet flushing in the admiral's quarters. I like that.
So we're talking like this is a marked phase.
Yes. Yes. But yeah, the captain is not yet on board, and it is drawing closer to launch. Marcus, how long did you spend in your quarters, Marcus?
About 20 minutes.
20 minutes getting things settled in, and so yeah, it when Marcus makes his way to the bridge, about 20 minutes has passed, and still no captain. And you're getting down in the science bay a great look at what you can do, and down in the engineering deck, Rick, you could push this ship to do some really incredible things, and you have something installed that not every some ships in the fleet have them, and knowing that this was going to be a top of the line new ship, you expected you might have one. But this ship is installed with a transwarp drive, which means you can use it, but you can't just use it all the time. It does put stress on the engine, but you have your regular warp core, your regular engines, and you also have the ability to use a transwarp drive.
I thought they had slipstream, not transwarp.
Yeah, slipstream, not transwarp. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. The one that makes everything go all blue and you go super fast through space. That one.
That's
yes. Yeah, that's slipstream.
There are
Sorry.
also transwarp gates as well that we can jump to around that also have a cooldown.
Yes, there are in the universe transwarp gates. Some known from time that the Federation was dealing with the Borg. So
on my console, I can tell we've got a make the ship go fast and turn everything blue button.
Yes, you do have
Button
that.
is colored plaid.
Don't go to plaid. That's a terrible idea.
Why are you always preparing? Just go.
You'll overshoot what you wanted to do. So aside from a couple of ensigns other cadets that may gain names later, the non-commissioned officers that were on the bridge finishing things up are beginning to file out. Those that were working in the engineering bay and the science bay that are now making way for the cadets you're all beginning to take your stations around the ship. How much time and having to do that, that first probably only going to have to do it the one time, except for poor Marcus, who, as the executive officer is going to have to coordinate a lot. And that's what you find out as you reach the bridge, Marcus. And it's kind of what you expected, because command training prepared you for that. It just may, if this is your very first time looking at what do we think the complement of the Reliant is, everyone?
A couple hundred people, maybe.
How many people? That's what I'm thinking.
A couple hundred. We can look it
up. Yeah, I
up.
said it's a couple hundred. I'm sure. I bet you we could. If someone does that,
it would be about
that's
the
awesome.
same as Miranda, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Is it?
And given that it's a training cruise, it doesn't necessarily need to be top
crew either.
Like, it doesn't need to be filled out. So let's say 83.
Right. 120. I'll do 120 because the full ship's complement will eventually be probably up near 200. So about 120 are helping shake down this ship. Now that does include the people that are not cadets, and there are a fair number of them in various departments around the ship.
After some time on the bridge, perhaps. After some time on the bridge, perhaps.
Much time.
Half an hour to 45 minutes since we got on board, so this would probably be 9:45-ish. Kara turns back to Executive Officer Graves and says, Executive Officer Graves, do you know when Captain Cole will be joining us?
Just to let you know, you got cut off there at the end, so make sure that the push to talk.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, so... Okay, so anyway, no, I don't know where the when the captain's going to arrive. I haven't been privileged to that information. But for the time being, we can prepare the ship and make sure we're good to go as soon as she does arrive. So, helm control.
Realize, Marcus, that you could check. On as the executive officer, you could find out when she's due to dock and be aboard.
Marcus chooses not to look that information up.
Okay, I'm just making you aware that you could.
But Marcus is a little suspicious. So he checks in with Kara regarding the status of ship systems.
Ship systems appear to be online and nominal, Captain. Or Executive Officer, we are ready to move out when ordered.
Bridge to Dr. O'Connor.
O'Connor here. Can I help you?
How are we looking for medical supplies?
How are we looking for medical supplies?
I think with our eyes.
Wonderful. You're with our eyes.
That was asking the GM, but yes, we're pretty good.
All right, so perfectly normal for a 3-month cruise, or a little bit longer than that.
Maybe a little bit
for 3 months, but stock you could deal with more if you had to.
We're good. About a 3-month, but we could handle more.
Alrighty then. Rictier?
Pardon me, Executive Officer. You sound like you're expecting trouble.
Just preparing for every contingency. We have not been briefed on parameters, which is slightly unusual, so I'm making sure that we're good to go for any particular mission that we make.
Aye, sir.
So, Rictier, how are we looking, or anything to report regarding ship systems?
Engineering is reporting green. We do have a quantum slipstream device.
Rictier.
So, if sorry, I forgot to press my mute to talk. Button to talk. All systems are green down here so far, Captain. Executive Officer. We've got a quantum slipstream device, so if we do need that burst of speed, we have that option, but it is something that we can't really rely on long term because it's very demanding on our engines and energy usage. But we're looking good here. Everything is ready to go.
Good to know. So, Marcus then proceeds to take his seat and then waits.
Kendra looks around the bridge and realizes she doesn't see Lieutenant Tardigrade anywhere.
Then Tardigrade is currently in the Jeffrey suit.
It's crazy. This is a bigger ship, I think.
It's not though. It's the same size. So I mean, I don't even know what to say to that. I was shocked when I read that. By the way, for those who didn't read it, I looked up on Memory Alpha. The Miranda class has a crew complement of 26 to 35 people. It is essentially a very large shuttle.
I looked it up on Memory Beta. It says 360.
Well, right now you have 120.
We're all cramming.
So, all of you can get a look at your mission orders, which are to proceed to the Delta Volanus cluster, and the first system that you are designated to go to and investigate once in there is designated M753B2. There are no there's no colonies there. There is a mining station there that has not done its monthly check-in. That has happened before, so that it is your first stop is to see what's up with that mining station and make sure everything's okay.
Kara goes ahead and spends the extra time conferring with Quentin about astrometrics and trying to find the best route there to avoid trouble.
Ooh, that's awesome.
I already
Are
have
there roles?
3 separate courses plotted. In addition to that, there's 2 deviant courses that would take us near 3 stellar phenomena that may or may not have harbored life before the existence of dinosaurs on Earth.
Nice. Really quickly, Baz, is there a role that can be made to say like we're finding the best route to get there without trouble, and also et cetera,
Yeah, so
being able to like
it's a navigation,
find good
so
stellar
definitely a con
phenomena.
roll. And I would say go for reason, since you're looking at knowledge and star maps and all that, and working well. What can we go near? What can we can't? So reason, con.
Would this be an assistant role?
It
Yeah,
can.
anything on the ship is an assisted role. If you're doing like ship systems, like shooting things, looking up information. So that would be
So it can
perhaps a
absolutely be assisted.
computer con for the ship.
I have a quick question. I remember reading that like the ship itself can sometimes add dice.
Yeah, so the ship would be assisting on this. It's got its own stats. Well, should theoretically have its own stats. I don't know if you've got the details of that.
I don't have its own stats, but I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess, and we'll work out the stats for the ship right after we after we've had our first session. If everybody wants to do more, we'll work out the ship stats. But I'm gonna roll 2 dice for the ship. Is that
just 1
correct?
dice because it's an assist.
Okay. I want to like roll a real die, but I'm gonna do it on the D20. 15. I think the ship probably made it.
But there's a complication. Wait, did I read that right?
There's no complication that I can see.
thought-
You guys have a number of good routes into the Delta Volanus cluster prepared. Specifically routes that will lead you to I have it written down, and that's what's bothering me, is that I've misplaced that notebook, which is why I just kind of like made up the numbers of that system when I actually have the numbers of that system written down. Here it is. M5, and if anybody wants to write this down for their own notes, it is system M5975B2.
That is so catchy, just like astronomers. So catchy.
Can you say that one more time?
Yeah.
Or M5975-B2.
Kara has studied enough science to know that the 2 people who really can't name anything are astronomers and historians.
The system that you're going, the mining facility that the ship is assigned to go have a look at is in a distant orbit in an asteroid belt of a large white star. time continues to pass to where the captain probably should have been here by now. Yes, the captain definitely, like, an hour passes, and those of you who were doing work, assigning people in various places, you're on the tail end of that work, and the captain has not arrived yet. It's probably a little over an hour, so there's still a couple of hours until the ship launches.
So Whately is knowing everything going on, observing everything. He is going to access his little, console that he has access to at his chair, and he is going to start looking for what the hell is going on with the captain.
Okay. The captain has an arrival time noted at 10:30 in the morning, so about 20 minutes. She's not due to arrive until about 20 minutes from now.
He nods, makes a note of that, closes the application, and just goes back to observing.
Okay,
20 minutes from now, so she's not due to arrive yet?
Oh, she's due to arrive in 20 minutes.
And mind you, he doesn't say anything. He doesn't tell anybody this. He sees that. Okay, and goes back to observing.
If you look to the her arrival time is an hour and a half before launch. All of yours was 3. Oh, she should be here in about 20 minutes.
Kara just fidgets nervously since nobody's told her this information, but she doesn't really want to ask either.
Lieutenant Tardigrade is crawling through the Jeffries crawling behind an access panel on the bridge. He doesn't come out yet.
Yes, and Rick here has informed his crew that Lieutenant Tardigrade is wandering around the Jeffries tubes, so just be aware that there is a non-engineering personnel in there.
Lieutenant Tardigrade taps his comm badge. Lieutenant Tardigrade to Cadet Lensis.
Come in.
I have patrolled the Jeffries tubes. They are very safe.
That's good.
I am awaiting orders.
Report to the bridge, please.
He opens the access panel.
Kara jumps.
Oh, there you are.
He salutes. Graves just gives him a look.
You're very quiet, John.
People take their bridge stations. 20 minutes pass and the captain does not arrive.
Marcus says to Kara, scan for the captain.
Right now, shouldn't the only one who actually knows the captain is due to arrive be the chaplain?
Graves is getting impatient.
Well, I did not expect a time jump like that. I was actually messaging Q Hippie to let him know that 5 minutes before the captain is scheduled to arrive, Whately will suddenly say 5 minutes until the captain arrives. Crew, no warning,
Kara
no
snaps to
nothing.
attention.
He just says that 5 minutes before the time.
Graves says to Kara, scan for the captain.
Aye, sir. Initiating lifeform scan now. Searching for the captain's con badge.
This would be a roll.
I was muted. I was like, yep, that would be a roll. The 9 definitely succeeds. I doubt the 19 does.
So just
is a 19
just quick question
a complication?
Quick question on the assisted rolls for the ship. When you do an assisted roll, it should be based on the primary character initiating the action and then the character assisting it. So wouldn't it be a two die rolls, one with Kara and then one with the ship?
No, Kara always has her 2 dice, and then the assist
The
is
ship
on top
adds
of that.
1. The ship adds
Okay.
1 die. So in this case, the 9, the 19, and the 11 is 2 successes, but does the 19 make a complication?
No, there is a way to increase the range by spending threat, but
Okay.
by default it's only 20.
I don't
The complication.
I don't have threat right now. Oh wait, no, I do have threat right now. I'm going to throw a complication on there and extend the range of the threat so the 19 does indeed make a complication. I spend 1 of my threat. You can definitely detect the captain's comm badge and signal in. Somebody think of a really cool mountain range to be hanging out in. Doesn't have to be any specific country.
The
The
Himalayas.
Cascades. Oh, that works too.
Himalayas. You detect the captain's comm badge in the Himalayas, and you also detect the captain's yacht in the Himalayas. However, you cannot get a lock on the captain's exact position in the Himalayas.
Sir, I appear to have found Captain Cole. She's on planet, sir. It appears to be the Himalayan mountain range. I'm trying to narrow it down, but I'm getting some interference, possibly from the weather.
Just to let you know, you cut out again right at the end.
Right at the end.
I'm trying to compensate, sir, but it seems like we may be getting some interference from the weather.
Can we open a channel?
I think that would be Kendra.
Yes,
Sorry, guys.
yes, you can. And if you, you will experience a little bit of difficulty opening a channel, Kendra. So what kind of role would that be, Bazag?
So let's do control, because it's trying to find the exact settings that we can piece through the interference. Sorry, I keep forgetting to push to talk. Controls, because we're trying to find the exact settings to push through the interference. But it could be engineering or science, depending on how you want to approach it.
Let's call it science. So you'll have a target number of 12.
Sorry, I had to mute everything real quick because I had something else scheduled tonight. I didn't know we were going more than an hour tonight, and I had told somebody I was doing this for an hour. No, you're good. But I had told somebody that I was going to be doing this for an hour tonight, and they had messaged me and were like, "Hey, what's going on?" And so I had to mute everything so I could jump over to them.
We've got about a half an hour left. A half an hour left is the 3-hour game opening, and we are really right about where we should be.
I'm good. I'm good. I can go for a while. I didn't know, and so I told them I don't know how long this is going to go. So go on without me.
So the one success, the interference that you're picking up is environmental interference in the area with her comm badge. It's the interference is on her end, not on your end, and you're able to cut through that. What do you want to say? Like, what do you want to say when you manage to bring up her comm badge? And it's going to chirp for her.
Captain, you're due to arrive on the ship.
That must be. I'm going to call you Commander Graves. I'm going to need about 10 more minutes to get back to the top where my yacht is. Really soon.
Captain, are you in any danger? Do you need our assistance?
There's a pause. There's a beat of there's a pause, and She says, "No, I'm good."
So Whately is going to close his eyes and focus very, very hard. Even though he does not have familiarity with the captain, he knows it is possible to read people's
distance.
mental states from their voice and everything from a distance. He is going to attempt to get a gauge on her. He's not going to try to read her mind, but he is going to try to read her mental state.
To get a gauge on her. What kind of role is that, Bazag? Remember to unmute yourself.
More insight command, since we're trying to get an insight on people.
There he is. Insight command.
So-
Your target number is going to be 15.
Now, I am very, very new to the system. This will actually be the first roll I've ever made in this game. I have an insight of 11 and a command of 4, and I know I roll a d20, so...
Yes. You roll. You're going to roll 2d20s, and the insight of 11 and the command of 4 come together to make 15, and your target number is 15. So 15 or below is a success. With a complication.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
With a complication. Oh, I like this too. So you reach out to get her mental state. There's stress. There's termination, and then there is the fact that she's in pain. She managed to not sound like she was in pain, but she's in pain, and you know it because suddenly your left arm feels like it's broken.
Oh, okay. So Whately suddenly...
That is the complication, is that your left arm very suddenly experiences the pain that she is in. She has a broken arm, and you experience that pain.
So he suddenly lurches to his left as his left arm suddenly can't lean on the armrest of the chair. And he looks at...
3 complications, Rick? Or 3 complications, Baz?
Well,
we haven't had
throughout the whole game, we've had...
I see, that's what he means. Yeah. Okay.
So what else? Or do I keep going?
Nope. You keep going. I just wanted to make sure there's no more complications. He was saying the game has had 3 complications and not 1 critical success.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so yeah, Whately suddenly lurches to his left as his arm can no longer hold his weight on the arm of the chair, and he looks at Graves and says, "Sir, we need to do something. She's in trouble."
Can we get a security team down there?
Security team to the transporter.
Cadets, you immediately get 3 reports of cadets, that you would assign to be ready for security detail, reporting to the transporter room.
Is one of them lieutenant tardigrade?
Oh,
Yes,
he's on the
Lieutenant
bridge.
Oh.
He is on the bridge.
Dr. O'Connor, we may need some help. Have a medical team prepared to assist in transporter room 1.
All right, I'll be with them.
Scanning for beam insight, sir.
You have it's not hard at all to find a site that you can beam in. Her captain's yacht is landed at a very nice spot, nice flat spot up in the mountains that you could beam into.
All right. The captain may be in some trouble, but we don't know the situation. I'm currently not too enthused about waiting, so I'm also not enthused about making this easy. So prepare to beam down, assist the captain whatever way possible. Also make sure that this goes on official report in the ship's log.
Okay. The signal that they have transported to the planet comes to the bridge stations that make sense, the security station, the XO station, and the minutes pass,
Any update on the security team?
The security team, a couple of minutes pass. They tell you that they have successfully beamed in. Well, not the first thing they tell you is they've successfully beamed in at the captain's yacht's position. They are. You hear they say we've made contact with the captain. We'll be back aboard very soon.
What's her condition?
You hear your captain's voice again, and she says, "My condition is a broken arm."
Meanwhile,
I
this whole
misjudged.
time, Whately has been rubbing his left arm.
My condition is a broken arm. I misjudged and slipped on my way back up to the yacht. So, thanks for sending down the team.
No problem,
Get aboard
Captain.
soon. And you all can see the captain's yacht leave the planet's surface, and it's not a long time that it takes the captain's yacht to get up to the ship, maybe a minute or two, as it breaks atmosphere and settles into the ship, into its docking bay, the captain's yacht. It has its own docking bay, and it settles into the docking bay, and about because the medical team is in the transporter room, by the time that Dr. O'Connor has received the message from the bridge that the captain is going to be arriving in the shuttle bay, when you and the nurse that you brought with you, Dr. O'Connor, arrive, the captain she's got her right hand on her arm holding it. She's obviously broken her arm before. Do you know how when you see someone who has broken a limb like that, how when they do it again, yeah, it still hurts, but they know
It's not as
hold
bad.
it. They know hold it this way and it won't be as bad. And so she's doing that, and as she sees you walking up, she says, "Ah, nice to meet you, doctor."
Nice to meet you.
And the security team just kind of they give you a look like, wow.
And
Like,
Whately on the bridge
wow.
is holding his arm the exact same way, just for flavor.
Like that. So do you walk up next to the captain, doctor?
Of course. Nice to meet you too, sir. Just wish it was under better circumstances. They say first impressions mean everything. I say as I'm messing around with my medical kit trying to find I'm sorry, I'm looking through the book right now trying to find what the medical kit is full of because I know it's in here somewhere. Like it
Are
has...
about to find out if the captain uses sir or ma'am. You're looking through your medical kit to get what you need to set the arm while you're walking with her, and she doesn't. She expected you to call her sir. Is the way you read it. She doesn't like say no, call me ma'am or whatever. She says she doesn't, sir totally worked for her. As you said it, and when you get out what you need to seal it, she moves her hand so you can do that as the two of you hit the turbo lift, and she says bridge. So you're on the turbo lift with the captain fixing her broken arm as it opens onto the bridge, and all of you see your captain for the first time. I waited to describe what she was wearing because that way it's just when everyone sees her. And she is where imagine the I hope Battlestar Galactica is a reference that will not be lost on most people. She's wearing
Quick question.
Yeah.
Old Battlestar or new Battlestar?
Battlestar Galactica. She's wearing that gray tank top like the flight suits that the Viper pilots wore, and she's got
new Battlestar.
Yeah, she's got around her waist, she's got climbing gear and heavy protective pants, and she's got her she's got like a Starfleet issue casual excursion jacket tied around her waist. She's stepping onto the bridge with the doctor. I'll share her picture one more time just because I like it. It's the actress reference and the picture itself.
Evangeline Lilly. I love that you picked her, by the way.
There you go. That is the captain that is stepping onto the bridge. And seeing those of you that are there, Quentin, are you still in the science labs, or would you have made your way to the bridge, knowing when the captain was going to arrive?
I probably have once I knew the captain was coming on board.
Okay, so that puts all of you except for Rick onto the bridge when the captain walks on and sees a very diverse crew. All of you, we don't know a lot about this Klingon yet, but the one station on the bridge that is not filled by one of the player characters currently here is the ops station, Data's old station, and that position is filled by a Klingon whose name we don't know yet, who is a full Klingon, I expect.
Just put Mike in Klingon cosplay in our heads.
Basically, there you go.
PlayStation loading screen, Mike in Klingon cosplay.
Yes. This way, anytime that Mike would like to have a Friday evening and play some Star Trek with us, if we're on board the ship, there's a character he can play. And when we have reached into the point where there may be villainous Klingons, he can certainly help us by playing some of the opposition. So she steps onto the bridge as the doctor is finishing running the medical scanner over. I'm not sure what device you would use there, but I mean, we've seen it happen in the shows where they just run like the blue the glowy blue light over the arm, and the captain protoplaser, there we go, I like that, thank you, Pass. The barcode scanner. By the way, there is a glorious diversity in this bridge crew very, very quickly. I mean, you guys have a Xindi reptile on the bridge. You have a tardigrade. You have the doctor is a Trill stepping onto the bridge with her. There is a full Betazoids, on the bridge. There's a Trill human. Sorry, not full Trill, but it's a gloriously diversified little bridge, and I assume everybody kind of looks over when she enters the bridge, and she looks at all of you and says, "None of you have ever had a broken arm? They slow you down."
Well, and hold on, I have to interject at that point. As soon as she enters the bridge, Whately, I assume Whately does this with everybody else. He jumps to attention, but he's still cradling his left arm the exact same way she is.
She looks at the bridge crew and anybody who waits for the first thing that she is going to say as soon as her arm heals, and she looks around and she says, "What? None of you have ever had a broken arm? They slow you down. So this is the Reliant."
I've had a broken skull before.
Whately doesn't say anything. He looks down at his arm. He looks at the captain, gives a reassuring nod.
She's obviously read all of your files, because it doesn't surprise her that it looks like you trying to connect to her hurt. So when you give that kind of smiling little smile and a nod, she kind of does the same back as she's stepping down into the command circle and extending her hand toward Marcus.
He shakes her hand and just says, "Welcome aboard, sir. We're ready to go as soon as you're ready."
Okay, so one of the cadets, not one of I wasn't sure exactly who was contacting me. I was in a lot of pain. About XO, I never liked that whole number one commander thing. How about XO?
XO works for me just fine.
Great. And she sits down, not even worrying about the fact that she's not in uniform. She sits down in the captain's seat and says, "We launch." And she looks over at Graves.
Aye, sir.
Acknowledged, Captain.
Oh, we're doing
Disengaging
on-
inertial dampeners.
And she says, "How are we doing on everything being aboard?" And a quick check shows that in fact everything is aboard. There are still some people settling in, but when it's who wants to report that everything is ready to go, whoever it is, when they do, she says, "So there's not exactly any reason that we have to stay until noon. As far as I understand it, the ship's designer is already on this particular dock, so Kendra, is it, right?" And it looks like it takes her a moment. She's still learning everyone's name. She looks back at the security station and says, "Kendra, right?"
Yes.
Send a signal to the she says, "Send a signal to the station so that we're sure that the engineers get a look at us as as we leave." Go and start dropping the mooring docks. And she looks over at you, Graves, and she says, "Get us out of here."
Oh
All
my
right,
god.
Lieutenant Tardigrade in the corner, meanwhile, carefully stows the careful drawing of the ship he was trying to put together, although he got distracted and started drawing a small moo cow in the corner. He puts that and then totters off to the corner to be able to view watch the view screen.
Kara, meanwhile, has a very wry smile, but after disengaging the inertial dampeners, she's moving the ship under maximum thrusters to get far enough away to go to warp.
Engage the inertial dampeners. We want those on.
Doctor is still working on her arm.
Well, the inertial dampeners inside the ship we want on, but not the ones that would hold the ship in place.
Ah.
Rick's just keeping an eye on everything, making sure everything is going according to plan, staying within tolerances, etc., etc.
Okay, I'm going to rule that we don't need any rolls to launch your ship unless you choose to do something outrageous like let's launch at warp 7.
Go Captain Kirk.
Captain, that would be against regulations.
1/4 impulse.
Right. And with Marcus giving the commands of 1/4 impulse and take us out as soon as you are clear of the space dock. Captain looks down to the front of the bridge and says, "Khan, I assume we've already worked out the best ways we need to get where we're going."
Approximately 3 different best ways, ma'am, depending on your definition of best. That should be a sir. Sorry.
She again doesn't respond in a bad way. When you say that should be a sir, and she just kind of makes a like a breath in kind of like chuckle to herself. And once you are clear of the space docks, she says, "Let's take the way that is the most scenic."
Aye,
Sit
ma'am.
back.
I believe that Science Officer Quentin shall be quite happy.
circus, and she says, "There, Gage." And the USS Reliant, we see it, of course. We've been watching it as this scene intercuts. We've been watching it slowly roll out of the space dock. And when you are clear, and you're clear of the wake of your warp trail, taking you to warp, you enter in. When she says engage, what warp factor do you want to engage at?
We've already made the joke,
Waitley,
so
you
cruising
can get
speed
an
should be 6.9.
Hey, nice.
You can go lower if you want.
I can go lower, but the
So-
interesting stuff is out there. Why would I go lower?
Okay, the Reliant, at its comfortable cruise velocity, warps away from the Sol system, and you begin. I want to make travel make more sense than it does in STO. Like I shouldn't be able to fly across the galaxy in a couple hours. So you have, if you continue moving at your comfortable velocity, you will have 4 days before you are arriving into the Delta Volantis cluster, and then immediately making a course to the planet that you're going toward. But we have reached the point that I wanted to reach tonight, which was the launch of the USS Reliant and the introduction of a bunch of what seemed to me to be really, really fun crew members. So our credits begin, our ending music and our credits begin to roll over.
Sheer
Did I
fucking
over-
hubris that we have that.
Yeah. So yeah, that is that was,
By the
for
way,
me, that was a lot of fun.
I did ask
great, I
before
loved
we officially ended. I did ask something in game chat. Can Waitley get an empathy check for how she felt about being called
Sure.
ma'am? Wait, that should be a
Sure,
sir.
go ahead. Go ahead.
What should I roll?
Insight command.
Baz, what would be a good
insight
empathy
command.
check?
Yeah.
And so 11 and 4, 15 is your target number.
All right, and I'm rolling 2d20 or 1d20. What am I rolling?
2d20. 2d20.
2d20. Give me a good roll. Hey,
Used.
12s.
She felt amused.
Okay, that's what I
Um,
expected,
you're-
but Waitley wanted
yeah.
to know for sure.
Actually, she didn't feel amused at being called ma'am. She didn't have a strong feeling one way or the other about being called ma'am.
It was the
amu-
correction.
She was amused at Kara correcting herself.
I am so going to love this captain. Yes, Kara, Cole is now ship mom.